Welcome back to the first 50, lesson 43, and one of the most quietly important operators you'll ever learn, the double arrow, the append redirect. Think of it as the safe sibling of the single. We met last lesson, where wipes and replaces adds to the end, preserving everything that came before. 2 characters, 1 tiny extra arrow, and the entire meaning flips from destructive to cumulative. So here's the mechanic. Command file. txt runs your command, takes its steed out, and tacks it onto the end of the file. If the file doesn't exist yet, it gets created, same as, but if it already exists, the old content stays put, and your new output simply joins the party at the bottom. The same family of variants you already know applies. 2 appends just errors, and p-file, 2. 1 appends both streams together, perfect for cron jobs and long-running scripts where every line matters. The rule of thumb is simple. Logs grow, so they use. Snapshots replace, so they use. Pick by intent, keep or replace. Let's actually try it. Start with no file at all. Echo day 1 started. Log.txt creates it and drops in our first line. Run it again with day 2 continued, and when you cat the file, both lines are there. Day 1 still on top, day 2 added below. That's the whole magic. Day 1 was preserved. If we'd used a single logic on that second command, day 1 would be gone. 1 extra character flips destructive into cumulative. Now let's put them side by side because seeing it really drives it home. Same file, same 3 echoes, A, then B, then C. On the left with quo, every run wipes the slate clean. After the third command, only C survives, A and B gone. On the right with A, each line stacks onto the last, and you end up with all 3 preserved. The rule of thumb is simple. If losing the old content would make you cry, use. If the old content is stale and deserves to go, use ew. So where does hobby actually show up in your day-to-day work? 3 patterns cover almost everything. First, the manual log entry, echo a message into a file, perfect for deploy scripts and cron jobs. Second, 2, for a cumulative error log, where only failures land, building a history of what went wrong. And third, TA, which writes to the screen and appends to a file at the same time, great for interactive scripts where you want to watch and record. And one pro tip, always prepend CUI date when you append. Future you, debugging at 2 a.m. weeks from now, will be deeply grateful. Let's watch this play out across a real week in Tom's terminal. Monday, he appends his v1.2.0 deploy. Tuesday, a hotfix, same command, same file, Monday's line untouched. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, he keeps adding. And when Friday afternoon rolls around, 1 cat deploy.log shows the whole week. 5 timestamped lines, 5 deploys, 1 perfect audit trail. From there it's trivial, grepa v13 to filter a version, wcl to count. That's the power of V, history that builds itself, 1 line at a time. But here's the dark side of that beautiful audit trail. It takes exactly 1 missing character to destroy it. Imagine Tom, 2 months in, typing his usual command but accidentally hitting a single instead of 60 days of deploy history, gone. The file now holds 1 line, today's entry. And the worst part, it happens silently, often inside cron jobs, and you only discover it when you go looking for old data that isn't there anymore. The defenses are simple habits. Else the target first, add set noclobber to your basic so the shell refuses to overwrite, and build the mental rule. If the file name ends in .log, .history, or .audit, .isc is your default. Anything cumulative deserves the safer operator. Now, Usr rarely works alone. It has 3 daily partners that complete the log building workflow. While you're appending, tailf lets you watch new entries arrive live, which is oddly satisfying when Tom's deploys land in real time. Date, wrapped as on date, gives every line a timestamp. Pair them religiously because months later you'll desperately want to know when something happened. And WCL counts the lines, so a quick WCL deploy.log tells Tom he's shipped 87 deploys. Append writes the story. These three help you read it. Time to put your hands on the keyboard. 3 quick exercises, all using throwaway files so nothing precious is at risk. First, create a log from nothing, 2 echoes into my.log, and watch how Cobb builds the file on the first call and extends it on the second. Then graduate to the professional pattern, wrap date in a command substitution to stamp every entry, and finally append command output itself, run ls twice into file.txt, then let WCL prove that yes, it really did double. And that's a wrap on lesson 43. You've now got the complete redirect family in your toolkit. Append safely with me, capture errors with 2, merge both streams into one growing log, and you understand why append is the right default mental model for anything log-shaped. Next up is WCE, the universal aggregator that turns any stream into numbers. Tom's deploy.log has 87 lines waiting to be counted. See you in lesson 44.